back at Bull's Restaurant in downtown Long Beach. Had a couple weeks off for a couple issues. We had Pearl's thing, the clinic for the women, and we had band competition. We had them out late one night, so we're finally back in Bull's Restaurant with Coach Piggott, and we'll start the coaches show. All right, Coach, let's start off, instead of going back and dwelling on some of the old scores. We've seen the scores. You've heard about a million things. Again, I think it's the toughest district in football. I don't know what a lot of the fans out there expected from this year. The fact that these teams are that dominant, you're just not going to turn around a program and start to go undefeated. So, but I know the mindset of here at Long Beach that they kind of think that's what happens. But
well, you hope, I guess.
Oh, yeah,
you hope, but, then reality kind of sets in.
We know. I mean, you talked about it. We're going in the right direction.
Right.
We still have a long way.
Right.
Both with a lot of things. And sometimes the talent level, we don't have enough of it compared to some of those other schools. But instead of harping on all of that, we got senior night coming up this Friday. We got Wayne County at home for senior night. And I thought tonight maybe we can do a little plug for the seniors as their time in Long Beach is ending out. I'm sure these are guys that you don't ever want to lose. I know every senior night's always a touching situation. And you hate to see them go, but you're happy for them that they are moving on. So maybe we'll just touch base and I'll hit you with some of those seniors and you give us a little about their career here at Long Beach as far as, we'll start with number 1, Kobe Cook. I know he just signed a scholarship to play baseball, I think.
I think it's signing day tomorrow or Friday, rather.
So, I know he's hurt right now. So, but what do you want to say about Kobe for the last couple of years?
Well, I guess before, just kind of a blanket statement for all of them. We're blessed with a great senior class. This group, they mean the world to me. They're a group that, to be honest, to talk about them sometimes even chokes me up. Just how much they bought in to everything we're doing here, and really laid a foundation for the future here at Long Beach. I don't know if you'll find kids that have worked harder than this group, kids that have grown as much as this group has grown from even just the 2 years I've had with them, and they love each other and they genuinely care, and they will certainly be missed. As far as Kobe Cook goes, man, Kobe was an electric football player. I hate saying the word was. Kobe, we lost him, about halfway through the year to an injury, and you've seen the offensive production go down because of it, I believe. He was a guy that you need a play, he made the play. And, Kobe has that just, infectious spirit, that joy, and zest for life that rubs off on people. And he's a joy to be around, joy to coach, and, comes from a great family, and, really going to miss him. And, he's a guy that I want to say was all district last year at receiver. Was certainly on pace to be all district again this year. Should, had he not had the deal with the injury, but, his time at Long Beach won't be forgotten soon.
He plays with a fire, too. Sometimes it looks negatively on him, but he's always out there enough fire.
Oh, yeah, ton of passion.
And I know his dad got an illness, and I hope his dad does a lot better and heals from up. I just know I had happened to hear that a little while ago. All right, we'll go from one Cook to the other. We got Dalton Cook, number 2. He's also a senior. I know DC a little bit, but go ahead, Coach.
Right. So DC, Dalton, he's another one, and might get repetitive how much I just say they're great kids, but, Dalton's a guy that when I got the job, it was, hey, we got to go recruit Dalton Cook, and we got to get him back out for football. I think he'd taken a year off maybe playing baseball and focusing on that. And, he's one of the best athletes, I believe, in the entire school. Basketball player, baseball player, football player, great academics, great kid, great family. Dalton's a guy that to me will have a shot to play baseball or football in college. So, we're interested to see what route he goes there. If not, play both. He's one that, last year, really came on the scene, kind of being that possession receiver. You know, you need a play, need a completion, and he made it for you. This year his touches, you know, went down early in the year, just so many mouths to feed on offense, and you know, with kind of some injuries, he's been a guy that's really stepped up and rose in the absence of some of the other guys at receiver, and you've started to really see his numbers pick back up in recent weeks, and his role really increase. And you know, we're going to play him at a little bit of outside backer this week. That's new, so you know, we'll give him a shot there as well. And you know, he's just a guy that, like I said, you know, you wish you had, you know, 21 more of him, and you'd be cooking with gas.
Yeah,
so.
And I know I've seen him play basketball and football, and he's really smart, game smart.
Right,
seems like
right.
Cool-headed. We've seen a couple of good plays from him this year.
Definitely.
That shows that. So hopefully, DC, we will see him signing something in the future. Jonathan Ulrich is the next one.
Jonathan. All right, Jonathan. Jonathan is a character. He kind of always makes me laugh, you know.
I'm glad you see that too, Coach, because I coached him in ninth grade basketball. He's a character.
Jonathan is another one. You know, I think, amazingly, and here we are 2 games left in the season, I don't think Jonathan Ulrich has played his best game yet. I think he has so much potential and talent, and, you know, he's a guy that his ability to learn things and his unselfishness, you know, and his talent and his size, we've really been able to move him around to really wherever we've been weak over the last 2 years. Like if we had a weakness at outside backer, we slid him there. If we had a weakness at receiver, slid him there. Running back, slid him there. I mean, he played tight end and at one point, just kind of a versatile player for us. And you know, those are the guys that, you know, because they bounce around, their stats don't collect at a certain spot, but their worth is unmeasurable. And what he's meant to this team in the last 2 seasons, and you know, his unselfishness of put me wherever, coach, just make sure you put me in. You know, I'll do whatever. You know, it means the world to me, and gonna certainly miss him.
The versatility of a player is huge for a team.
Definitely.
It may not be so great for them, but it's definitely fits out for the team.
True definition of a team player.
True that. Then you got another one of my old basketball buddies, Tyree Peters.
Tyree Peters. All right, Tyree. Tyree's been very impressive this year. He is. Tyree is a guy that, when we first got him, you know, we tried him at the cornerback because he was another one. Where, you know, first got here, wasn't playing football. Had to get him back out from the gym. You know, did a recruiting job on him to get him out, and you know, he came in, he bought in. You know, we had to kind of get on him a little bit early with, hey, you know, weight room, we gotta lock it down, we gotta work hard in there, and then he bought into it. And this senior year, he has really shown up at the running back position where we needed it, you know, and he's been kind of our power back for us, getting the hard yards. Had a breakout game. I'm trying to remember. Shoot, what game was it? It was maybe was it Picayune? I think. Yeah, Picayune maybe. Tyree, if I'm messing that one up, or forgive me for it rather. But you know, really had a breakout game in that game, and I think we'd had some injuries, and we're really nervous about running back that week. And you know, he stepped up, and you know, he's done that all season, and he'll continue to do that. He's been playing a little bit nicked up this year as we've gone, but doesn't slow him down. He doesn't complain. He just does his job and works hard, and you know, really an honor to coach him.
Yeah, I know you said it again, how to get him back out of the gym, and I think this was the class, like a lot of them in ninth grade, they didn't play football.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they played in the middle school, because I know Dalton played middle school, and then Tyree, I know I had him in ninth grade basketball, and I think he played. Yeah, he played middle school. Yeah. And for some reason, they took that freshman year off.
Yeah.
But that's what it. The next one, Gervais Foxworthy.
Gervais.
Foxworthy.
Yeah. Gervais. You know, Gervais is one of those that. To me, I still believe he's, you know, best receiver on the coast. I think that, you know, Gervais, he had an injury his junior year, kind of sidelined him right as he was really taking flight and, you know, getting in the public eyes and getting in the recruiting eyes and things like that. Then he goes down with a knee injury, sidelined him for the rest of the season last year. You know, this summer, get him back and some things like that, and you know, he's having to kind of play from behind to catch up. You know, early in the year, we were using. He's another one. You know, hey, we had a weakness at corner. You know, felt like we needed a guy, and he stepped in at cornerback early in the season. We had a lot of receivers, not a lot of cornerbacks. He stepped in there and phenomenal games against Pash Christian and Stanislaus early in the year at the defensive back position. Gervais can be the best player on the field at a lot of positions.
He's got that typical college football body.
He's big, he's fast, he's strong, and he's smart, and he cares. Really going to miss him next year. Now he's kind of settled back into his receiver role, and you've seen him be the featured receiver the last few weeks, and really playing well here as the season finishes, and look to see what he can do these next 2 weeks as well, and think the world of him as well. So.
And all right, next one, another one of my basketball players, Danton Pearson. If he could ever grow into his hair, Coach, he'd be like 7 foot.
Danton, man, there's so many of these guys, because from this one grade, there's so many skilled player, athlete, receiver type guys in this grade.
And the growth I've seen, like he was in ninth grade basketball, he's a little, maybe clumsier a little bit. I wouldn't say clumsy, but his body was bigger than he was used to or whatever.
Yeah.
But he
grew into that height for sure, and that's the thing. It's like, heck, most of them, they all played the same position, and Danton's a guy that, heck, when I first got here, he was playing defensive line, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, he's got this long, tall body, and he'll come up and he'll hit you, and he's smart, and he's got good hands, and we end up in a JV game last year. He's playing for us, and we need a big play at receiver, and we need to throw a jump ball, and we're like, hey, you're 6'3", 6'4" over here, let's throw you one, and dang it if he doesn't run down the field and get open and go up and make a big play, and we're like, all right, we're on to something.
You've seen it now in the pro league.
Oh yeah,
all the college basketball players are switching over to play tight end.
So we move him to receiver this offseason, and he's coming along great and playing well, and started several games for us. Gets an injury there, and sidelines him for a little bit, and we're still trying to get him back from an injury. But Danton, another one, just his joy for life, man, his spirit, it's infectious. I know his friends think the world of him. We've enjoyed coaching him. Great family, great, and we'll wish the best for him.
Yeah, sometimes when he's playing, you're like, man, do you have a serious bone in your body? He's always laughing and goofing. All right, the next one on our list is Simon Wynn.
Simon Wynn. Okay, so Simon is maybe the only kicker / defensive back I've ever coached. Well, I guess I had Kai Vancourt last year. So that might be the Long Beach special. We have some kickers that are defensive backs as well. Simon's actually he's a defensive back and a skill player turned into a kicker instead of the other way around. He's one of those guys. Hey, my kicker will tackle you. Once he kicks it. So Simon is. Works hard, never complains, always there, a reliable kid, joy to coach. He's one that, heck, he hadn't repped at cornerback in a couple weeks, and we get some injuries in the Hattiesburg game. One of the best teams passing the ball that we're going to play, and we're looking around and we're like, Simon, get in at corner, and he goes in and plays lights out. I mean, they tried him on some deep balls, and he makes the play and defends the pass, and really stepped up in a big way, and we're going to continue to use him as well. We had some kicking woes at the beginning of the year, but he's gotten over them and really been consistent kicking, our kicking game since kind of the rough start, but. So that's everything.
All right. The next one is R.J. Reeves, who came. He had a couple of injuries early, right?
Yeah.
And I know he's having a good year because the San Francisco 49ers are undefeated. That's all I ever hear from the guy. But I know he's come on late.
Oh yeah. RJ is one of those guys. I tell you what, if you own a business, you hire this guy. RJ is a tough worker. Great kid, tough worker, and he's a heck of a player. He's so fast. He's really fast. Track star guy. Look forward to him having a big track season this year. He has done very well for us at the corner position when he's not been hurt. He's had the injury bug. If it's not been one thing, it's another, and soon as we can get him back, you know, it seems like some freak something that, you know, out of his control and things like that. But, you know, in the times where we have had him and where he's had to battle through some things and play for us, you know, he stepped up in big ways and made a lot of plays for us this season. And
it's nice to see these kids grow up. I mean, he was in my class when he first came, and it was an Algebra 2 class, I think. He never took Algebra 1. So.
Yeah.
And he's a Niners fan, and I never let him live it down. Now they're undefeated.
There you go.
You never know. All right, the next one is your captain, Cameron Matthews. Oatmeal.
Yeah, Cameron Matthews. There won't be words that you know that do it right for Cameron. Cameron's a guy that is no doubt about it the leader of our football team. You know, there's no kid on the team that would say differently. He is you know, as hard a worker as I think I've ever met, as bought in a kid as I've ever met. You know, he's a heck of a football player. He's tough, rugged joker. I mean, he's fighting through so much pain with his, you know, knee injury and things like that, and he just keeps battling and, you know, never complains, never has anything to say about it. He tears an ACL last year, and you know, he's back in like 2 weeks. I mean, it seems it took him 2 weeks to be back. I mean, it's like he's the fastest healer I've ever met.
He's gritty. You can tell, because his body type isn't so outstanding, but he gets the most out of it.
Well, you know, he's one that, you know, it really, you talk about embodying your team values, you know, and what you want every kid that comes through your program to act like. You know, he's a model.
He's got it inside instead of on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next one, which I've been impressed with this year, is Jaleel Jones.
Oh yeah, Jaleel Jones, man. I don't know if there's anybody that's grown more than Jaleel Jones, and you know, as far as where he was, he's short. I wasn't saying that with the short comment. With his true growth, I saw the smirk.
I just know Jaleel.
You know, Jaleel. Now he's another one. You talk about just a zest for life and enjoying. You know, just enjoying football, loving the game, loving coming out and being excited to be there. You know, he's a model for that. And you know, Jaleel, from when we got him, you know, and his ability and his skill level and all that, and his level of buy-in and working hard in the weight room, where it was when we got him to now, I don't know if he doesn't work the hardest of anybody on the team. You know, he's up there with the Cameron Matthews. I mean, it's, you know, I don't think he takes a break. I don't think he's had a break in a practice all season long. He doesn't ask for one. If you try to give him one, he doesn't want it.
Yeah.
You know, and he's one that you know, got a motor. I mean, he plays hard. You know, we play him at nose guard and against these huge guys every week, and he's battling with them till the end and making plays. We put him at outside backer even when we kind of went with our heavier D-line package. Got 5 D linemen in the game. We slid him outside, made a bunch of plays there. Then now he's playing both ways. He's starting at offensive guard as well and not coming off the field, and he never asked for a break, doesn't want one. And, you know, Jaleel means the world to me, you know, and man, I wish I had him for 3 more years.
And that's definitely one where you can't judge a book by its cover, you know, because even I see him in the hallway and I'm like, wow. And then I go out to the game and he's nose guard. Yeah. You know, like if I knew if I was on the offensive line and I saw some of those other guys, like, we're going to double that team and then Jaleel's going to make you pay. Right. You know, don't overlook me. You know what I mean? Don't overlook me. I'm going to hurt you.
He's as big and bad as they come on that football field. I don't care how tall he is.
When I was growing up in New York, the smallest guy in our friend group was like a state champion wrestler. So anytime we were in an argument, they'd yell at him, and I go, that was the wrong one. You should pick the big guy. Yep. Yeah, he made him pay for it. All right, Jaron Evans, who I know transferred to the pass and then came back. You're glad to see him back in Long Beach, and I'm sure you were.
Yeah. You know, Jaron's another one. I mean, his growth as well. You know, he was a guy that, you know, when we kind of first met him, and he'll kind of admit it, you know, time to run, time to work out. He's not, you know, he'd get through it, but not really loving it and owning it and things like that. And, you know, but then you look at him his senior year, he comes out and, makes up his mind and says, look, hey, I'm going to be a starter, and I'm going to not only be a starter, I'm going to be a heck of a player, and he comes out on the D-line, and our D-line has been a big strength for us this year because of the Jace Neals, which we haven't got to yet, Jaron Evans and Jaleel Jones, Jaron Burnett in there too, but he's not a senior, Javonte Foxworth as well. But Jaron, I mean, he's come in and he's got all that size, and he made his mind up his senior year. He wanted to be a player, and he wanted to, really be somebody we could lean on, and he's answered the bell.
Yeah, and, he's changed his body type. You can see for a little work in the weight room.
He bought into that work at that weight room and all that size, and all of a sudden you see him. I mean, he's pushing people around. He's, he's as good as anybody I got at what we call spilling a block. They pull these linemen around trying to kick you out, and you can't kick him out. He gets in there and digs himself in there, and that's you got to be an unselfish guy to do that.
Because you're not going to make the tackle usually, but you're going to let someone else free it up.
Right. Very proud of the man he's become. So.
Now, I was very impressed by Jace Neal this year, the way he pulls as a center and everything like that.
Yeah.
Also a captain, but you already mentioned a little bit, so Jace Neal.
Yeah. Jace, Jace is just as strong as an ox. He's probably, him and Andrew are probably the most physically impressive guys that we have on the team, as far as their weightlifting numbers and, and all that good stuff. And, Jace is he's kind of a big, mean, nasty guy. And I'll tell you this, he's the one you want, when the lights come on and you got to go up against somebody big and bad. Like we got Picayune, we know their fullbacks coming in, going to kick out, and we say, hey, Jace, we're going to take, it was Jason Jaleel Jones. We said, we're going to put them on the edge, and, they want to come kick out somebody, let them come kick them out. That's Long Beach's biggest and baddest out there, from a size standpoint, and, we throw them in there, and, he doesn't back down a bit, and been a great player for us, made a lot of plays this season. Junior year he started at offensive guard. This year he started on D-line, and felt like D-line kind of fit his personality a little bit more. And I think Jace, if he can find the right school to jump on, he might be one you see play at the next level as well. Jace is a guy that, he's always the last one to leave. He's hanging out with the coaches, he's asking questions, and really enjoyed coaching him over the last 2 years.
I think I misspoke when he was pulling. That would be Wes Borland.
That
I was talking about, but Jace also has that ability. Okay, now you got, I guess, I don't know if he's the only signee as of yet, but Andrew McMillan, who signed at USA.
Yeah, Andrew McMillan, he's the one that, when you put it on paper, what they're looking for a college offensive lineman, he fits the mold. He's got the height, he's got the weight, he's got
put on a couple extra pounds when he gets there, and he's going to be something new.
He's got the strength, and then he's a incredibly smart player, and as well as in the classroom, and then he's ultimate competitor as well. Andrew cannot stand to get beat. He cannot stand to have to reload a play and all that. He's got that perfectionist in him that he wants to get it right, and he's furious when he doesn't get it right, and that's what you want. That's what he's a self-motivated guy, and great kid, great family as well. All of them. They're all great kids, great families, and the thing with Andrew, Andrew's as Long Beach comes. His mom works at the school. They're super involved in everything. Andrew's in seems like every club and everything. You could possibly be in. He's a guy that his impact on Long Beach will long be remembered even after his time's over. So he's one of those you don't know how many of those you'll coach in your career, but
the one you'll remember years from now.
Yeah. So really gonna miss him.
I know you talked about Javonte Foxworth a little bit, and I have to tell you, I taught him again in freshman year, and I did not think he was a football player. Now I see him as a football player. You know, like when I first met him, I was like, man, okay.
Yeah.
But he definitely grew into his own on the field.
You know, Javonte and Jaleel are very similar. You know, they don't necessarily have the height that you know, gives you the impression they're a big, bad defensive lineman. But, you know, Javonte, they're both of them, you know, work ethic and all that. Javonte's work ethic, you know, is up there with the best on the team. And
consistent.
Yeah. He's just, you talk about being a self-made guy. You know, Javonte, I don't know if he's ever missed a day. I really don't. I don't know that he's ever missed a day.
But off the field, Coach, I don't even know if he has one mean bone in his body. If you ever really talk to him.
He's got it on the field.
You put him on the field,
he's
it's
got
like
it on the field.
Yeah. Like you see him in class and he's giggling, laughing. I'm like, man, when you see him on the field, it's a different bird out there.
Oh, yeah. You know, he brings that out and he plays tough and he never backs down from anybody. And, you know, he's a high character kid, never going to, you know, always going to be doing the right things. And, you know, another one you wish you had a ton more like him. You know, going to miss him and, you know, who he's become as a player, I've been very proud of. You know,
he hits somebody when it's allowed.
Yeah.
So. All right, next one we got another captain, R.J. Johnson. We had him on the show that one night.
Yeah. You know, R.J. Johnson, what can you say about R.J.? You know, R.J. is a guy that, you know, he's so bought in. You know, how we're going to replace these guys really, you know, really makes me nervous. I'll tell you, it's just such a good group of kids. And, you know, RJ, you know, he's, again, just as Long Beach as they come. I mean, just he loves it. He loves Long Beach football. He loves everything the Bearcats stand for and work for. And
he'd be one I would think would maybe come back and coach us sometime.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
you could see
he'd
that.
Come back and be around a little bit.
Yeah, you know, and his deal, you know, I don't think I've ever had a cross word spoke with RJ. I mean, just yes or no, sir, kid, does everything right, never questions anything, just works and grinds, and been through some tough times and never didn't have a smile on his face, you know, coming to work and you know, battled through some injuries this year, and you know, he's one we had to roll him at center at times, never complained, just did it. You know, it plays guard for us primarily, and you know, I know he's a joy to coach, and you know, like I said again, wish I had him 3 more years. So.
The quick time goes quick. And the last one we got is Kyle Morgan.
Kyle Morgan,
77.
Yeah. You talk about being undersized for your position. You know, we got Kyle Morgan in here playing right tackle versus, and you're going to see it this week versus Wayne County. They got absolute giants on their defensive line, and you know, he's. Kyle's going to man up to anybody. He's never going to back down from a challenge. He's going to do what he's supposed to do all the time, and you know, he's another one that, you know, I'll remember this with Kyle. You know, he was one of those when we were trying to turn this thing around in the off season, and you know, kind of laying the foundation for the culture that we want here, and the way we want these guys to work. You know, he was constantly coming in and, you know, asking the coaching staff, you know, hey, how, you know, give me tips on how to lead these guys, Coach. What do we need to be doing? And, you know, what do we, you know, tell me more, you know, coach me up, make me be the player that you need me to be. And, you know, you love coaching guys like that. They're a joy, you know.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because I think we have the same thing on my team. Is those kids that are self-driven to do the right thing all the time,
right.
It's hard for them to be a captain.
Right.
Because they've never had anyone come to them and say, you need to do this better.
Right.
Because they do it every day.
They do it right.
So they don't really know how to go after
right.
And I said it's a learning process as well.
Right.
Just to understand, because usually if you're not being talked to and told what to do, it's hard for you to portray that as that. You do it by example.
Exactly.
You know, which is good to have.
You know, and I'll say this for Kyle too. You know, he's an undersized offensive lineman. But I'll kind of quote, you know, he's had 2 offensive line coaches since I've been here, you know, Coach Olson and now Coach Brady, and both of them, you know, Coach, he's got the best technique of any of them. You know, I mean, he's the most fundamentally sound line, and even with Andrew in that kind of, and now he isn't far from, you know, Andrew's not far from, but the technical ability to play the position, his focus on his hands and his feet and stuff. It's just
probably started playing that position late too, so he didn't have the bad habits or anything.
You know, and he takes the coaching and all that. You know, it's just you wish he had. You know, I know he wishes he had the size to go with it, but he's got the heart. You know, and sometimes that's all you need. And you know, he's by no means been a weak link on that offensive line. Matter of fact, he's been a strength for us. So. You know, gonna miss him. So.
All right, so now we talked about how I think earlier in a couple of shows how you raised the bar, and every senior class raises the bar a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, with these guys and their outstanding character, you would think that the underclassmen would see it, and then we'd be able to raise it next year again.
Yeah.
All right, so without throwing everybody out there, because I mean, there's like you said, 16 seniors we're losing. Who do you think could probably come up out of the ranks next? You know, like I know, like we talked, Tyree Peters was this year's. I didn't know anything. You had all those guys left in the wide receiver group, and you got all these kids stepping up.
Right.
You know, which ones besides the normals, D'Elijah and D. Allen or whatever?
Right.
Who would you think that's maybe didn't get much time this year that could step up into that?
Well, you know, honestly, most of our junior class played a whole bunch this year. You know, they've been in for a while now. You know, I think you look. This will probably be the first real experienced class we have. This upcoming class of. You know, heck, a lot of them been playing since they were freshmen. You know, sophomore.
You're still losing.
Defensive
linemen.
You're losing several linemen.
A couple of receivers. So I mean, someone's got to play them.
Yeah, you know, you hope. You know, Tyrell Weber's one that steps up now as you know leader on the offensive line. You know, Wes Borland. Of course, he's just a sophomore. You know,
right.
But we're going to have to. You know, we'll be young on the offensive line next year, but we really like where we're at with the guys coming up behind them, and that's a credit to these older guys for doing the mentorship on some of these freshmen. You know, that freshman class has a ton of talent. A ton of size and ability, and you know they're going to get thrown in as sophomores. There's 3 of them probably out of that grade that'll be starting on the offensive line next year, and you know, and we're going to be just fine. You know, and that's because these older guys have pushed them and taught them. And you know, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, you know, D. Allen and Marcus are you know strengths at the line, but J.R. McFarland. I mean,
they're all there.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Arnaj Caston already there. You know, so. You know, several juniors, you know, Geis and all that. Burnett is a big one. So, you know, we got a very strong, you know, class coming up. And, you know, the next grades, I mean, these guys have laid the groundwork. This senior class and last year's senior class, they laid that groundwork that now these guys can come in, you know, 3 years into a system, and they know how we're supposed to act, they know how we're supposed to work, and there's no excuses, you know, and, you know, we've had to weed several out, you know, in the process to get where we want to be, and now we get guys that love to work and guys that, you know, the ability and all that, now age is not going to be an issue because now they're grown up and now they know how to work right, and you know, and so here we are.
Because they're tutored.
Right.
They're groomed, you would say.
Right. Yep.
All right. With that being said, I know how hard. I don't coach the season where it's at the beginning of the school where there's other sports that come into play. Yep. But now that you know your season didn't go as well as I guess everybody expected. I don't know what you had in mind as your overall record. I don't really look at the wins and losses as far as I know how tough this district is in football.
Right.
I did see some improvement in to be, you know, like I said, lately I don't know if it's they just got deflated or what, you know, or outmatched. But Dowd, do you ever run into problems where now that once it's kind of decided where the season goes, where kids are trying to play other sports or just not interested, you know? And I kind of find maybe it might be a senior way. It doesn't have any more years left.
Right.
Yeah. You find anything
well, you know,
that?
And I think that's a credit to our seniors that they have stayed locked in. You know, that I've heard this week in practice, you know, the emphasis on, hey, we got to go out, you know, with a great senior night and you know, let's have one great showing here, you know, one last great showing here in our home stadium and make Long Beach proud. And, you know, that's the thing. You got to, sometimes when you're building a program, you got to turn the scoreboard off. You got to quit looking at it. And you got to measure yourself on growth, you know, and there is tremendous growth. I mean, you know, off of the things that we want out of our kids, you know, you're seeing the character rise. You're seeing, you know, the selfless attitude, the united, you know, team that we are growing together. You're seeing kids the one, you know, we raised the bar and we made it a lot harder on them, you know, the day to day, and you start to see if they can't keep up with that, then the numbers drop off. But, you know, we're going to keep that bar set because there's going to be guys that answer that bell, and all of a sudden
we're going to have to be competitive, you know, if they really want to be.
And that's the thing, you know, it's like you're seeing the teams we're going against in this district, and if we want to be on that level, we've got to bring our work up to that level. And, you know, not everybody can take that. It's not for everybody, you know, but we're going to find the ones that it's for, and we're going to build that foundation on them, and then the numbers will come and the wins will come. And, you know, and this group's done a great job, the senior class, of keeping them locked in. So, you know, I hadn't seen it too much, you know. Well, maybe they're thinking it, but they're not.
You know, I don't know.
You know, maybe they're thinking it, but they're not showing it. You know, they're coming out. I mean,
well, you said they're quality young men. So
you know, and, you know, heck, they're having fun. You know, they're having fun at practice and enjoying it. I mean, practices get long, but, you know, I think you still see some fun out there.
I mean, being a senior, you know that there's only so many of these left. If you're not going to the next level, then you know this may be where it ends, and it's. I mean, I know senior night's always the finality. Senior night's tough, but the last game they ever play is even tougher.
Right.
You know, if it's in the playoffs or a regular season, whenever that finality hits, and you're like, man, and then they see the tears and everything from my girls. But all right, now I know we talked about having a big senior night. Obviously, the seniors are going to get their claim to fame or get the pub. And then I would think at senior night, it's the passing of the torch. You know, get the juniors and the younger kids. I'm sure you, as a coaching staff, you've thought about playing those kids a little bit more than maybe they would have in the past, just to get a good look at them, see what we got to look for next year, where we need them to be. So can we expect that coming forward?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think you've already seen a little bit of it. I mean, you know, I can think right now, like, you know, Junior Kozlowski rolled in, you know, at the QB position, gave him the start last week. He did well with it. You know, it got a little nicked up in the game. You know, then Nate Richardson, we expect huge things out of him. He's a freshman. You know, he's got that body type, that build that, you know, if he can fill out, you know, maybe looking like another Andrew McMillan type of body. You know, so you know, he'll get the shot young to grow into that. And you know, we got a lot of young ones that, you know, have seen their way on the field, whether it's been special teams, you know, or not. And, you know, we got some that Jaron Burnett's played a whole bunch this season, and he's a guy that has that size to match up to Picayune. And, you know, we find out, you know, the big bad guy for Picayune, they're one of their best players. He's Jaron's cousin, and they were matching up the whole night together, and Jaron got the best of them several times.
Yeah, with his family, you have to raise it up a little bit. You know?
Yep.
So you know, and then you got some leadership that you're out there. You mean like DeAllen, Delijah, or Gabe Smith, who's out there. He'll fill in nicely out. You know, you're still looking for that interior.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Well, we appreciate that, Coach. We got Wayne County coming up. Senior night. Is that the festivities for senior night happening before, like usual?
Yeah, I believe
16,
it's before
that's
the
a
game.
bunch.
Yeah.
Then I'm sure there's some senior cheerleaders and band members. And, you know, I know it's a long night.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so what do you know really roughly about Wayne County? I know a little bit. I don't like Wayne County. No offense, but I don't know if we just don't have it right.
Nah.
But it's more the coach of Wayne County softball that I didn't really like.
I don't know anything about that. Well, you know, me and the football coach, we get along. You know, of course, Wayne County and Petal and all that, they're you know, pretty close proximity, and got to know the Wayne County program, you know, from my time there, and you know, I think highly of Wayne County. They got great athletes, and and they do it right. You know, they do it right up there, and you know, the thing that they're very strong. They're going to be a different element because they're big. I mean, they're just like it. I think their running backs go.
How's that go around Long Beach?
I mean, I think their quarterback, maybe 220, 230 pounds. They got another running back, 220 pounds, like 195-pound running back. Then their line is humongous. You know, their defensive line is maybe the best we'll see all season, and we've seen some good ones. Yeah. You know, skill positions they can make. You know, they're going to be up there with as good as we played all season. You know, and but you know, hey, we've matched up against, you know, these top opponents week in and week out, and maybe we'll get used to it and shock some people.
It's senior night too, so hopefully those seniors will show them on their last go. And who knows? Every time you put on your cleats, anyone could win.
Right, absolutely.
Day to day. All right, so you got anything else that you got going on that we need to know about, Coach?
Just come out and support us, for the senior night and cheer these guys
last home
on.
game of the season.
Yep.
So
and then we got Pascagoula after that, and that's where we're at. So
we'll see from there. Well, we made it again. Another Coach's Show. Thanks everybody for coming tonight, and we'll see you next week. Bulls Restaurant.